All right. Welcome back, you guys. It has been a hot minute. Farah.
Oh my God, we're here.
I'm so excited to be here.
Alhamdulillah. Yeah.
I don't even know how long it's been since we've been on the pod.
Man, it's been since March. Because
been
I
a
was
minute.
like, I looked at we edit on iMovie. We're trying to upgrade. We've upgraded significantly if you haven't noticed.
Yes.
Right?
Yes,
but
alhamdulillah.
yeah, I was looking and it was March 2021.
Wow.
Yeah, we like ghosted on
That's
everybody.
crazy.
I know, and I don't like to be a ghoster, but
You
we
know
just
what?
had
We
to take
needed
care of
to take the break.
ourselves, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
There's a lot going on in the world
Child.
that we kind of want to escape from.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yes. And I wanted to make sure we had like the right energy. And I think both Farah and I agreed that like we wanted to do a higher quality set. Like the sound. Do you guys notice the sound difference? Right?
Yes.
We spent lots of time like researching and figuring out like.
And by lots of time, Afnan did that. Guys, I'm like so in the clouds. I realize I don't like to read instructions, and we've been kicking it very closely. Alhamdulillah. And I mean, when I tell you, Afnan, and your detail, like you read, like I have some patients who come in and then they'll read, like they'll get their medication and read every single thing on the back.
Yeah.
Where I'm like someone who's like, man, we here, bismillah, we here, like you said, this is good for me, which is insane, right? Because I definitely know all the things that are going on behind the label for these medications. But when patients do it, I'm just like, oh, you're that type.
Yes.
I've already I've casted you in a space.
In a group, yeah.
And that's you.
I'm
love
definitely
it.
an instructions reader.
Yeah.
So I find that it's helpful. Like I don't like to retouch things. So I'd rather like spend the 15 minutes to review it and then know what I'm doing and keep moving.
It works.
But yeah, like I'm not a stop and go person. Like that's so frustrating.
All the tech here, guys, that's Afnan. She just tells me she sends like really clear messages around with links that tell me to like go buy this. So I'm like, okay, love that you understand me.
Alhamdulillah. It's the balance. It's the balance.
Is,
and I think
alhamdulillah.
it's awesome. So we're so excited to kind of bring that energy back to the
here,
pod.
yeah.
Because the people have been talking. I've gotten a lot of questions.
Lots
You've gotten
of
more
questions.
questions, I think, than I have.
And I'm just like, we took the time and people were like speculating, like, what's going on? Where are y'all? People's like husbands were like, where's Rooted Black Girls?
Wow.
Yeah.
The fellas were tapped in.
The fellas were like, where are they?
That's
Yeah, they
mashallah.
listen.
They do.
Y'all don't like to admit.
They won't admit it.
But y'all listen.
But listen, yes. No, I can verify that. Even some of Fred's friends.
What?
Yeah, who are not even married will be like, what's going on with the pod?
What? They listen. They need something to kind of spice up Joe Budden, Brilliant Idiots. What else do y'all Jesus and Mero, these guys?
Girl, I don't
all
know.
these podcasts that these fellas listen to.
You know what? And
Kevin Samuels, I hope y'all are not part of that brigade. Yeah.
Listen, you know what? But it's funny because even like in terms of like what we consume, like media podcasts, I'm not like, it's crazy. We have a podcast now and I'm just now starting to listen to podcasts. I remember we mentioned that like maybe a year ago when we first started filming, and listeners could not believe that I had not listened to things like The Read. I didn't even know. Is it called The Read?
It's called The Read. It is.
It is The Read. Okay, I was like, it's
been
not
out
The Real.
here, bro.
Yeah, I've never
time.
listened to a full episode of that. Even Joe Budden's podcast. Like, if you hadn't mentioned it, I wouldn't even have known.
Yeah. See,
Yeah.
mashallah, that's why this works, y'all, because she like reads the details, and I'm like an audio visual learner, right?
Yeah.
And so I consume a lot of like video content.
Yeah.
It's either reading a book,
Yes.
that's all I'm gonna do, or
Yeah.
I'm gonna be watching like video content.
Yeah.
And you're
I don't listen to I'll listen to books, but
audiobooks
like
are dope.
the thing I do about podcasts, I think, is also like just people's opinions, and it's like if I don't know you, I'm not gonna give you the chance of day to but like someone who like has done the research and all of that stuff, I don't know, but I'm getting into it. There's definitely some podcasts that I listen to now. Alhamdulillah.
Yeah, I
And that's
love
been really
hearing
cool.
people's opinions about stuff.
Yeah.
I wonder if it forms my own opinion about things, or do I come in? And I think what I'm doing is taking in lots of information and then formulating my own kind of theory about different subjects.
That's a healthy way to do it.
I mean, we're not Sigmund Freud here. You know what I mean? I'm talking about theories on Kanye,
Right?
and his crazy ass.
Exactly.
You know?
Child, we're not even gonna talk about Kanye today.
Yeah.
But yeah, we're super excited to be back with you guys. Let us know if you guys are watching this on YouTube. We do have a visual podcast. So if you're listening on headphones on the podcast, lovely. But if you guys are checking this out on YouTube, make sure that you guys subscribe. We'd love to have you as a family. We're trying to grow our platform. So yeah, we'd love to have you. But we're going to get straight into it. So today's episode, we're talking about Money Adab, right? or money behavior. If you guys don't know what adab is, right? Would you just find like adab is like behavior, right?
I would say it's behavior.
Yeah.
Now, do I know the root? No.
Girl, we're not about to get
my
into
stada
that.
would be very upset right now.
Right? Disappointed,
Disappointed.
right? So for money adab, it's like, what's like the proper, right, socially acceptable way in terms of like when it comes to like money and all these things. So we have like a bunch of different...
Money, just etiquettes.
Right.
Right?
Exactly.
I would say behavior and etiquettes overall.
Yep, absolutely. I think etiquette is a good word. So the first kind of thing I wanted to bring up in terms of like etiquette is I've been in your house for a couple of days now.
Alhamdulillah. I love guests.
Alhamdulillah.
Yeah.
Okay, so like, do you have like a list? You've been an amazing host, first of all, mashallah.
Alhamdulillah. I try.
Yeah.
There's some areas that I miss out on,
Okay.
right? Like feeding people. Like, you know?
You know what? Today we had some really interesting, what was it? The pumpkin. So Farah and I were talking about like the differences between like what we eat, right? Farah always likes a little something.
I said I like something on something, right? And we were talking about bagels,
yes.
right? And she was looking in the refrigerator. I was like, help yourself. This is your house.
Yeah.
She was like, a pumpkin bagel, my dude?
Right.
And then she was like, and honey walnut spread? And I
Yes.
was like, wait, are you plain on plain? And
I'm plain on plain.
and
Plain
I was
bagel.
like, I am something on something.
Like,
yeah.
she always got to add a little bit of
It was
spice,
delicious,
mashallah.
wasn't it?
No, it was good.
Yeah.
I was a little nervous, but alhamdulillah, it turned out really nice.
Yeah, I like flavor on flavor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah. So, yeah, you know, that's why this works.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm extra in a lot of things, but
You are.
minimal in a very lot of stuff.
Yeah, I hate a plain bagel.
Really?
It feels like a waste of my taste buds
It's
and
so
my like
solid. It's just dependable.
caloric
Like,
intake.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mashallah.
It's dependable.
It's dependable.
Yeah.
I don't have to guess. I know it's going to be the same at every damn bakery.
Yeah.
Right?
I know.
But anyway, okay, so in terms of house etiquette, you said like you're good with some things. You said you're not good with cooking
Yeah.
or feeding necessarily.
You know what? It's just like, okay, like my friend Huda, friend of the pod, right?
Love
We bring her. I
Huda.
think she needs to be here because we
Right.
talk about
Eventually
her
she
every
gotta be
single
on the
podcast,
podcast.
right?
Absolutely.
She'll like, if I'm coming to Brooklyn, that's where she lives. She'll be like, yo, Farah, like, what do you want? What do you need? And I'm like, oat milk. That's all I need, right? But
put me onto the
I'm
oat
someone
milk
who's
for
like, will get up in the morning and just take care of myself. I'm hyper independent.
Mm-hmm.
But sometimes I forget, like, okay, like have the refrigerator stocked.
Oh.
Right? Like,
Yeah.
I know my sister likes Publix orange juice, right? And I just am like, you know, and so I'm working and being better around, like, let me be like my mom. My mom will cut fruit for her guests.
Okay.
And did you see that yesterday?
You
At
did.
some point, it was late.
It was late.
But I was like,
But it was on time.
but it was like, okay,
clear.
Farah, feed your guests. You know, like platter it out a little bit.
Okay.
Like they know it's in the refrigerator, but
It was
everyone...
cute how you set it up. It was like the tangerines with the grapes and stuff. I was happy.
Yeah, so I just try to lay out a platter, and I'm
Okay.
getting better with that.
Okay.
Yeah, so I wanted to, you know, take care of you and feed you.
I appreciate that.
Yes.
And it makes me feel more comfortable.
And
I
you're
think-
like a consummate host. I've been to your kickbacks.
yeah, you have.
You
That's
are
right.
like the platter is laid. Like
Thank
that's not
you.
something that you're thinking about. Like that's something on
It
automatic.
has
for
to
you.
happen. Yeah. Like we just moved. Fred and I just moved into a new spot in Dallas.
mashallah.
Alhamdulillah.
Yeah.
And we've been like starting to think through like what's the guest experience going to be.
And by y'all, do you mean you?
No,
Or Fred is thinking about this.
Fred is with me. He's like,
Wow.
yeah. So, because even like his friends will come over, or we're planning for them to come over,
Mm-hmm.
and like what the guys need is different than what the ladies need. Like for like you, right? I would put out maybe like my favorite body wash, like a brand new bottle, so that you can enjoy it in the shower. Because you know how sometimes you get into people's shower, and you're
Yeah.
like, I don't want to touch their stuff, but this looks kind of cool.
Yeah.
I always like to like just keep one brand new one for when guests come, snacks in their room, like a little micro
like,
fridge. Yeah.
What?
Just because so people are comfy. You know what I mean?
This
So
is
it's a whole
different.
thing.
This is like Ritz Carlton.
Yeah,
This is
but
Marriott.
some things that like irk me because I can't lie and say like I'm like the perfect house guest.
Yeah.
I think like when people bring plus ones and don't announce that,
Ooh,
that's so distasteful to
not
me.
cool. Has someone popped up to your house
have
with
done
plus
that.
ones?
Yes.
Never in my life.
Really?
Never in my life.
And I don't know if that's not make them feel too comfy.
I don't know. I'm like, I've had people hit me up and be like, yo, Farah, I heard that people are coming to your spot. Like, can I come
Can
through?
I bring one? Yeah, that's
Can I
cool.
bring somebody? Like, they've always told me it may
Yeah.
have been like 24-hour notice.
That's still pretty good. Sometimes I
it's-
get the
yeah.
hey, I'm about to leave. Can I bring my friend? I've gotten that.
Yeah, that's
Sometimes it
not
just
the
pop
most
up.
appropriate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Alhamdulillah. And
Yeah.
then I think the other thing is like I set things out really nicely.
You do.
And sometimes I try, right? And I think sometimes I can get like a little crazy in terms of like where people like set like cups or dirty stuff,
Yeah.
right? It's like somebody will put like, I don't know, I can't even give an example right now, but they'll put something like on like something that's white. It's like, come on, bro. Or like they'll set their dish on like an electronic. It's like clearly you see that's a DVD player. Like, what are you doing, bro?
You know what? When I have guests, I have to turn off my mind around what the house should look like.
Yeah.
Because, and it's hard for me because even when I've hosted in the rare times I host, because it just is like, kind of like I'm on edge, right? Because you want to show people a good time. You want everything to taste good, right? Like, is the Somali shah like together? Does it taste like my mom's, right? And it just, you know, so I'm kind of on edge when people come through, but I do have to just turn off my head around like what the house should look like. So right now my place, you know, because we've set this up into like a studio. But I had to turn off like, okay, this is what it's gonna look like
for a couple of days.
But as soon as we shut down production,
listen, I cannot go to sleep. Like, Fred and I are like deconstruction mode. Like we're putting the couches back together. We're putting all of the serveware because we don't use that like on a day-to-day basis. So there's like a designated spot for that. I can't come downstairs the next morning and see all of the same stuff downstairs. Like that'll drive me nuts. So when I come downstairs the next morning, I want to see it like our normal place because there's a different vibe. You're right. Like today, your place is like a studio, but tomorrow it's gonna just be Farah's spot. So you want to make sure that it's like legit.
Exactly. So you know, I love having guests. There's like we have behaviors and etiquette around it, but there's also rights that the guests have on us, right?
Of course.
Or just like how you treat them, how you
mean
take
from like an
care
Islamic
of them.
perspective?
Islamic, or just like, you know, I take it like seriously for someone to stay with me, right?
Yeah.
You never want them to feel like they've overstayed their welcome,
right?
Even if they have, you know.
Are you trying to tell me something?
No,
just kidding.
not at all, right? And I think Islamically, the principle is like, oh, you can be a 3-day house guest and not be like a burden on somebody, right? But it's like, you know, you flex, you take people in as they need you.
Absolutely.
And if I have the ability to provide someone,
that's
I'm
always
totally
a good
down for it, right?
Mashallah.
But yeah, it's just interesting because you think like as we're building this new tradition in the States, we're kind of Muslimish, right? Third culture kid, right? It's just like, how are we? What traditions are we taking? What are we leaving? You know, how am I honoring my mom? You know, and how she cuts her fruit, right?
Yeah, I'm definitely keeping the fruit cutting. For sure.
The fruit cutting is it?
Absolutely.
Yeah, but I know specifically like when I went to Huda's place in Brooklyn, right?
How was that?
I loved it. It was super dope. But then I want to almost leave her place like I'm not even there.
Yes.
So I definitely want to make my bed. Right?
Yep.
There's in the bathroom, this is a big thing because my mom would teach me this because how do you know to do something if no one's ever done it told you to do it?
You need an example.
You need an example. So my mom would always tell me like, Farah, please, like she would see that I'd get out of the bathroom and then she'd like drag me and be like, can you just see what I'm seeing right now?
Yeah.
And then she was like, just get a piece of toilet paper, right? And just wipe the counter so that there's no like droplets of water all over the place.
Yeah.
So now I do that when I go to people's homes. I'm like cleaning around the area to make sure that
you were never there.
I was never there. And that's always my goal, right?
Yeah.
Like my hands are not touching stuff, but you know, I don't know. Like, do I have that expectation of people?
Do you?
No. Again,
like
I just try to turn it off.
Yeah,
and
I
did paint my house with like indestructible paint, meaning you could like kids could color on this and I could wipe it off. Yeah.
See, and I think that's part of it, like knowing where your boundaries are and then preparing for it. Because
if you get, now this is like on some other stuff, but if you have flat paint on your walls, that shit's gonna be destroyed, right? With any handprint, any touch. So
yeah. Okay, cool. I love that. I think the next one that we wanted to talk about was like restaurant etiquette. So have you ever had, I mean, I'm almost positive, but like, you know, the two sisters or family members fighting with the hostess or the cash register person
100%
to pay the bill.
It's all I ever saw when I grew up, like growing up and seeing my parents.
That's like the respectful thing to do, even if you have no money and you fully know that the other person, you have to pretend that you're gonna do it.
And it's low key annoying, right? Because it's just like, okay, here we go,
let's do the dance.
But it's also like, that's it. Like I want to treat you, right?
Yeah.
And so it's just like, who's gonna come out at the end? But I remember being like broke, right?
Yes.
And being in grad school and kind of in transition periods.
Yeah.
And I would be like, okay, I'm gonna let them win.
I'm gonna let them win. But you still have to put up like a fake fight. Like,
are
you sure I can do it?
Are you sure? No. And you're like fighting, and then the cashier is just like looking at you like,
someone please give me their card.
What is going on right now? I'm uncomfortable because it is kind of this, and I only know this experience, but but it's definitely like East African.
Yeah.
Kind of, I've seen that among like East African countries around what you're doing, right? So it's not culturally, like you can't be at Jenny's fighting and then the white cashier is looking at you like, what the hell is going on? Because it's not American culture.
I've had 2 different experiences. When I went to Dallas, there's a lot more like halal restaurants and halal just like spots in general.
Yeah.
And so I find that if it's Muslim owned and the person behind the register is like our age, if they're our age and they like have, and they're more cultured, I would say, they will give it to the eldest person to pay. Right? Right? And I was like, wait, what? That's some like new rules. I was arguing with my mom, and I definitely will threaten the person who's taking the money. Like, hey, listen, you don't let them pay. Look at me in my eyes. Don't let them pay to the cashier or the hostess. I'm like, do not let them do this, right? So now they feel obligated to like taking my card over theirs. But in Dallas, for the couple of places that I've went, they're like, no, she's older, so we're gonna give it to her.
Whoa.
And I've been like, what? So
who owns these restaurants? Like, what's their background?
Mostly Arab.
Oh, maybe that's Arab.
Maybe that's an Arab. I don't know. Yeah. But I was very surprised to see that. So now I just have to hide her wallet before we get to the front.
Now, you know what's crazy? That's hilarious because now I'm seeing that people do something totally different.
What are you saying?
Like now people are like, you're not fighting with the cards. Now we got Apple Pay, my nigga. We got Venmo.
Oh,
right?
You're right.
So people just like expedite that on a different level. And so I'm like, well, I'll just Venmo you. And they're like, don't you dare do that. Like I've already intended with Allah, right?
Oh,
as soon as
man.
You,
that's
like,
not
that's
fair.
extra, bro. Like, take it. Like, I'm not trying to fight with you and God.
Yeah.
You know? So I just
have you blocked some? I've definitely blocked someone on Cash App, like return their payment and been like, I was like, send it again. I will block them. I was like, send it. It was like, reject it again, and I will block you.
Yeah, that is so. My homie did that. Siham. Like I was like, girl, that's unnecessary. Just take it. Like okay, so it's funny because when I'm on the opposite side of like paying, I'm like, don't do it. That's disrespectful, right? But on the opposite end, I'm like, yo, I don't want to be a burden. Like, just
please
take it. Let's go 50
money.
with it, right?
SubhanAllah.
So it's just so interesting. But I feel also a schism, right? Because I'm part of different communities, right? So then when growing up, right, you go to college, you're meeting different people. Yeah. And granted, like where I grew up, like I didn't have any money. We went to McDonald's and went to the dollar menu, right? So I wasn't ever like paying. We weren't paying for bills at restaurants.
Like $150, $200 bills, right?
No, I think I went to the Capitol Grill one time when we were in high school, and I looked at Adam and I was like, Caesar salad, nigga. Like, I was really? Like, I need to go back to Capitol Grill and look at the prices because I died. God. I was like, Adam, where the hell? It was like a birthday party of like one of his friends, right? And it was like all brothers and sisters getting together, and I was like, get me out of here. Where's my I used to love the McDonald's 2 cheeseburger meal.
Oh my God. Girl,
that was like I got payday, and that's where I go.
Yes, absolutely.
Wow,
it was a whole move.
Life has changed.
SubhanAllah, you won't even step foot in a McDonald's now.
I would not touch McDonald's with a stick.
I know.
Yeah,
it's so funny,
hilarious.
Okay, no, I think that's super interesting.
But I feel like I'm. Oh yes, so I was like, where was I on this topic? I'm so sorry.
No, go for it. It's been a minute.
So I've been thinking about like what other communities and spaces I'm in, right? So when I'm in mostly American spaces, right? Then I realize people don't fight for the bill. You know what I mean?
Oh, that's true.
Oh, people don't fight for the bill.
People will give you like are you sure? And that's it. Are you sure?
Okay. And they won't fight, bro.
Nope. Here you go.
I learned my lesson real quick. I was like, okay, like
they're gonna let you pay for it.
They're gonna let you pay. You're gonna keep going, and you're gonna give and give and give, right? And it's not like people are taking advantage. It's just not etiquette to do that. So
not
it's like
only
if you want to be extra, they think you're P Diddy in this. place.
They're like, okay, cool. Like I love vibing with you. Let's go to lunch more often.
I'm sure you want to go to lunch more often,
right?
Yeah. So the whole like that was when I went back to school or when I went to college, I was like, okay. And I could afford like Crispers, which was like a salad restaurant, or just like different restaurants. Yeah. I quickly realized like separate bills, right?
Absolutely.
And then there's this other aspect of just like, I don't drink, right?
Oh, I won't do it.
I don't want to. Then when you're in that type of space, do you split the bill? Just if there are 5 people, you split it 5 ways?
I won't. I'll be like, listen, y'all, like I already know. And the thing is, I'll make sure that I get there early when I think there's even a chance of drinking. Like when I'm with my, for example, like line sisters.
Yes.
And I know, for example, from the beginning, I'll be like, I'm going to be on a separate bill. So when that receipt comes down, to be like, oh, you got your, yes, ma'am.
Yes.
Because I'm not about to play I'm not going to play these games with y'all.
Know.
But I think the other thing is like, I've been with my line sisters for long enough now. That's not even an issue. Like they already know.
Yeah.
But like around strangers, like no. Either someone else is going to pay for the whole thing or we're all splitting bills.
Yeah.
Like it's not going to be like, oh, it was $300 and we're all going to do our portions. Absolutely not, because I can't.
Yeah, but it's fascinating to me around how I have to like switch it up, right? And what about sharing food?
Ooh,
wow, right? So in East African spaces, right? You gotta share.
Yeah,
right. Like it's just normal. It's like a loving space. Like
I think there's differences.
Well, I won't even say loving
offering.
space.
Yeah.
Right?
You have to offer.
It's
at least.
like you gotta offer the plate. You know, like it's family style almost. It's like, oh, I'm gonna try that. Right? We're all gonna try. Everyone's got their hands, but everyone wash their hands, right?
Wait a minute. See, you lost me there.
You don't like it.
I hate that.
You don't like it.
No, it's funny if we're at home and it's actually family, like. Then okay, right? But even if it's the same family and we're at a restaurant, bro, do not take the fork. Even at home, do not take the fork you don't put in your mouth and then come put in my salad. If anybody wants to try, it's like a limited time offer. Yeah. Before I get into my plate with clean forks and no one is eating, then you can take your piece. Like like the little side plates that they give. Yeah. I make sure we get those up front. Whoever wants to try it now. Forever hold your peace, because once you put that in your mouth, you are not touching my plate. And I won't take my fork and if someone. Okay,
so listen to this. You're a married woman, but I'm gonna give you like in case like you weren't, right? So you're out on a date with somebody, and then they have like a specialty drink, right? Like halal, like or whatever. They juiced it up, right? It's special, and they're like, hey, you want to try it?
If they don't put their lips in it already?
Yeah, they already put their mouth on the straw.
No.
Right?
Absolutely not.
I was like, oh, interesting. Like,
no, I won't do it.
Swapping spits.
The only way I'll do that is, again, before they take a drink from it, I'll take a clean straw. You know the little hack? You put it in, you put your finger on it, and then I'll taste it that way. But I'm not.
Germs in there, bro.
No. So you take a clean straw, right? You put it in their drink before they drink from it.
Before they drink.
Yep. And then you do that little trick where you put your finger on it and it'll take the bottom of it. And then I'll drink from that. Yeah. And then you have your clean drink to enjoy. And I gotta try. No.
Pre-COVID, you were doing this?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Even now, like, no, I've never been. Yeah. No. Because I think even like growing up on my mom's side of the family, like, we were taught, do not eat after people. I don't care if it's your auntie.
Share your mom's background.
Oh, yeah. So, obviously, my mom's black. I feel like we've talked about that. But for new listeners, my mom is black.
Exactly.
Right? They're black Christian.
Culturally.
Yeah.
Do you see the difference?
But you know what? Not all black Christians are like that. Because some, like in college, bro, people would eat off of each other's food. There was one of my friends was telling me literally just a few weeks ago. She said that the thing that scarred her the most about college was there was a black girl. So my friend was eating like the chicken wing, and apparently she didn't clean it well enough. She put it back on the plate. She was done with it. My friend was done with it. Her friend who was there at dinner with her took the chicken bone and finished it. And she was black. And I was like,
too much.
Like, bro,
that is
disgusting.
Too much.
Yeah, I can't do it. So I've always been a germaphobe, but like when we grew up, it was like, do not do that. Yeah. Like even once you get to a certain, even like with siblings, like I'm like, unless you're 5, even if you're a 5-year-old, I'm not gonna let you drink after me. I'm a grown woman.
See, I think we're mixing this up, right? Like,
you think so?
Yeah, because there's sharing culture versus like cleanliness culture. Right, there's a separation about what we're talking about. Yeah, like I'm really thinking about like I'm very much a germaphobe, right? Like I'm very much like, get up at a restaurant, you better go wash your hands with hands and soap. Like sanitizer don't work, bro. It just moves dirt around, right? Right. I mean, it works 3 times, right? And I'm thinking like in the patient sense, right? So funny. And then you need to go wash your hands.
With
it just
good soap and water. Yeah,
20 good seconds. Soap and water. My hands are. I wash my hands like 20, 30 times a day. It's crazy because of patient care, of right? And so that does translate to like life outside of work, right?
I'd hope so.
But like I'm thinking like sharing, right? When I am in I've told you guys this story before, like with my mom. I remember Thanksgiving, she said no one was coming over. So and the thing that I hated most was like all the leftovers that people would waste, right? Yeah. I hate wasting. Like my grandmother, she like puts everything in Ziploc bags. Yeah. And so then and is always storing stuff. And so with this Thanksgiving, I made small quantities. And of course, my mom was like, oh, okay, so so-and-so and so-and-so and so-and-so are coming.
Yeah.
I was like, Mom, there's not going to be enough food.
Yeah.
And then when I tell you, I think that's the last time she hit me. She back slapped me. Like, what? I was, not in my face, but she was like.
Oh, verbally.
No, she put her hands on me. And I was like, Mom, what? And she was like, are you serious? She was like, then we won't eat. Like, if there's not enough food for everybody, then we won't eat. Like, you're going to take care of our guests. And I was like, that's been such a learning lesson for me.
I remember the McDonald's story.
McDonald's story of my dad. Like, I came home with my own McDonald's. I have 3 other baby siblings, like younger siblings. And I'm over here eating my sandwich. And my dad was like, are you serious? He grabbed the sandwich before I even like opened it up. And like, he gave it to the little kids and was like, oh, Ashley and Hassan, this is your food now. It's it's traumatic. I probably need to work that through with my therapist, right? But it's a lesson that stuck with you. It was a lesson learned of just like, now I will sit in a car, or if let's say I'm going somewhere and I'm a little hungry before, I'm like, I'll go get a chicken nugget 4-count meal from Chick-fil-A, damn xenophobic like restaurant, right? I'll go there, eat a little snack, and I would never just show up to someone's house and not bring everybody food.
Yeah. Either you eat it before you get there, or you don't. Yeah.
But that's not American culture.
No.
Like, I remember with Line Sisters, we'd be working on a project or like a step show, and people would bring their Chick-fil-A. They wouldn't ask anybody, like, are you hungry? What's good? And me and Veronica are both one of my Line Sisters, East African too. We would look and be like, these folks are crazy, out of control, but I'm using my Somali cultural lens to see the issue. And then once I got more like dealings around like, how people share food, I'm able to see and use and switch lenses all day around how that is. That's right?
So cool.
But then one last story, I was in undergrad and we were with Line Sisters. And we went to Outback Steakhouse, and one of my Line Sisters got a blooming onion. And if you've seen it, they're massive. Yeah. And I remember being like, so and so, I want to eat some of the blooming onion. And she was like, do not touch my food. And when I tell you, she wasted 70% of the food and didn't want it. And of course, you're just like, ew, to the point where you're like, I will never ask you. Like, I just thought it was customary, right? But then that creates like a space for me where I was like, I'll never like ask anybody. Like, I'll just order it, It just made me feel super, super weird, because it's just, who are you in those spaces? And you realize I can only show up this way with this certain group.
Safely without it being like, because then you know what to expect. Yeah, absolutely.
So it just, and I don't think there's anything wrong with what she did, right? It's just a different cultural thing around putting your hands in someone else's food or even sharing it or passing. She could have easily just taken a cut and been like, oh, here, of course,
Yeah.
And I was a lot younger at the time. So I just, it kind of hurt my feelings. You can still feel it. I feel it, just like, oh, that is super weird.
Icky,
it's really icky, but it's just a different etiquette for different cultural spaces.
Absolutely.
And you can't be mad at anybody.
Yeah, but it also makes you like think about like what spaces you want to be in and what's comfortable and what's uncomfortable. So yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Speaking of blooming onion, I feel like that's like extravagant. Like, so when we're talking about like money, we talk about like bougie versus basic.
Oh, yes.
So would you say, in terms of like how you spend your money, are you bougie, or do you classify yourself as more on the basic side?
I think I had just told one of the nurses I was working with, I was like, girl, I am basic. You know?
You really?
I am. Like, every single time I go, like, we have a family member who works at like one of these department stores with all these bougie bags, and she was like, I'll give you the discount. Okay, please, no one ask me for this discount. Okay. Like, I don't want to hit her up for it. Disclaimer, right? And I'm not gatekeeping. It's just not mine. I don't want to,
Right. No, I get you.
Ask for a friend.
Right.
But every single time I'm about to like get a Gucci or something, just like one cute bag, right? Yeah. I'm like, oh my God, no way.
Wait, Farah, you don't have not one?
Not one. All my bags are from like Target or Forever 21.
Girl.
I mean, I try to get the cute pieces, right? Like,
no, they have that. You can't even stunt. Like, some of the Target stuff be like fire.
Yeah, so I'm very much.
So you don't have not one designer bag at all. Everything is like Target.
It's either Target, vintage. Wow. That's it.
Oh, vintage counts.
No, but vintage like 1960s, 70s, and it was cheap. Like, I got it at like a consignment shop.
That counts.
No, it's still like $30.
Okay. Some of that stuff from way back when is like 10 grand, depending on what
would you say that you are?
Ooh, I think it depends. In some places, I feel like I could be very, very basic, and in some places, I'm very, very bougie, right?
Yeah.
So like, I do have designer bags. I have a few of them, and I really, really enjoy them.
What do you enjoy? Tell me more, because I'm
like I think there's special like, okay, I think there's different types of like designer consumers, right? Like, I will wear it to an occasion for like dinner or a wedding or something like that.
Yeah.
Like, I'm just now starting to play with wearing like the designer thing on a Target run, right?
Yeah.
And I think I had to find something that fit my style. I think generally you will always see me like a black and white uniform. We've talked about this in the podcast before. Like, I like to wear very, very basic, simple stuff. Good quality. I can wash over and over and over again and it'll hold up. And then I'll change my wardrobe seasonally. So I didn't really wear like my designers, or hell, even like my Jordans. I wouldn't wear them on a day-to-day basis. Yeah. Right? It's like if there's an event or a kickback or something, which I usually don't attend very frequently in general. Yeah. So I have those pieces for when it's time to do that. But like you probably won't see me every single day with one of those things. Right? Like nylon bags are like my favorite. Right? So like I would get.
What's a nylon bag?
It's like a material that you can like wipe off. Oh, okay. Like kind of like a sports bag, but I would get backpacks like that. My work bags would always be nylon or totes or whatever. So I did that a lot. But then when I was like, okay, when we went to Paris, I think it was 2018. Yeah. I was like, it's time. Like, I need to, and I was sweating. Yeah.
It's a large purchase.
It's a large purchase. I think the bag that I got was like, it wasn't even $2,000. It was like $1,800, $1,900 from YSL. It was like a very basic bag. So and I was like, I can use this over and over again because it's black and it's gold, and you know, I feel like I'll get my wear out of it.
That's a place to buy it. Like, and it's less expensive too, because then you can go to like customs, right, and get like some money back.
That's a fucking scam. Let me tell you, because you have to wait in customs for like an hour and a half. They don't tell you. Nobody told me that.
It's worth the $200 that you
Girl,
get back.
No, I skipped that line. I have to get home.
I choose peace.
Yes. Yeah. You really should go like the day before. Anyway, regardless. So I do have some of those pieces. I found myself buying more and more of them. Yeah. And so now I have like a Louis Vuitton keychain, and like my family will be like,
that's kind of bougie.
It is kind of right.
That's like, I got the bags, now I want the keychain.
Yes. Yeah. The small leather goods are like very addictive. It's like, oh, the wallet and the card reader and da. But I use those every day, so I don't feel bad about them every single day, and they're so durable. Yeah. So I feel like in those respects,
I want one.
You should totally have one.
I want one. I just do. So that's interesting because I realize I'm like my mom. She is purchasing. She needs a new car. She like totaled it. It wasn't a serious accident, but the car. The insurance company just found out that fixing the car would be more than what the car was worth. Right? Yeah. She had like a broke down Camry, right? And she was actually looking for a car. Yeah. So now she's in a climate where they have like climate not climate, but like chip reader issues, right? Yeah. There are no cars on the lots right now.
Yeah, just because of COVID shortages. It's crazy.
Shortages, people, unemployment.
You have to wait a year for a car.
Yeah,
so literally.
She just wants a Toyota, but they're waiting like where you could choose like color, make, model. Like there's no options. Yeah. You're gonna get what you're gonna get. Like color, my dude. Like you're gonna drive a red car because that's the only thing they're giving you, right? Yeah. Yeah. So it's really interesting because I'm seeing how she's acting. Yeah. And she cannot wrap her mind around this large purchase. And I was like, you need a vehicle.
She can't pull the trigger.
Yeah. She cannot pull the trigger, even to the point where all her siblings are like, Mom, like we'll help out. Don't worry.
It's
like,
not gonna even be that much. Yeah.
She cannot physically wrap her mind around making a large purchase. And then when you look in the mirror, you're like, I'm totally my mother's daughter. Yes. Because it's large purchases for me. Yes. And I can buy, and you guys see me like on the feed, like I love like Jordans and shoes and stuff, like a little Ivy Park. But you think like these items are probably less than $200. I can hit the trigger on less than $200. Yeah. Right? I've accumulated that type of stuff, and that adds up. I know it. I can do math. Right. Past calculus, AP. Yeah. Right. Like I get it. Okay. Alhamdulillah. But like it's the large purchases. My mom literally walked out of the dealership. We came up with a great deal. Everybody knows her at every single dealership in Atlanta. They're like, wow. Oh, here this lady goes. She's like, no, I gotta go. I'm like, Mom, you're dramatic, bro. Like, you're not gonna be able to hustle. You can't talk a car dealership person down anymore. And she's used to that. Like, I told her, I was like, you're a 1990 like Bill Clinton black person. Like, I was like, you can't haggle. This isn't like the world is thriving right now, right? And that you can just go in there. There are margins. You can talk them down on something. They don't care. Someone hung up the phone on me when I was trying to call around about pricing. So the world looks different. So even around the bags, like I can't hit the trigger because the bags at least cost around less than $2,000.
Yeah. So and you know what is crazy? Once I started getting into them, I realized like those are like the cheap bags. Some of those bags, like Chanel wants like 10 grand for a bag.
Yeah,
what?
But those actually appreciate over time. So that's
but the thing is, like some of the fashion houses, they're saying that the quality has deteriorated because they're mass producing so much.
And did you hear that they're producing on the fake side too?
Yeah,
on the dupe side.
Yep.
So they're like flooding the market on both sides.
Yep.
Yeah, so that's really interesting.
Insane.
It's also brand politics for me too.
Yeah.
So I'm like Coco Chanel. I was like, she was a Nazi. She was she was like a part of the Nazi party, and I'm not trying to go that far, right? But I'm like, I'm not going to buy your bag. Where YSL was very inclusive back in the day. What's wrong with Gucci?
Gucci did that whole thing with the blackface mask and the sweaters with the big red lips, only on the black sweaters. Oh, they lost me there.
That was weird. I didn't get it.
And I didn't like that they didn't apologize promptly. Anyway, we're not going to get into that.
Yeah. So, then you think brand politics, but I always bring up the show Good Place. Have you ever watched it? Mm-mm. It's really interesting. These people think that they're in heaven, but it's actually like this weird ass hell, where you can't get the thing that you've always wanted when you thought you would get to heaven. Yeah. So it's actually a hell that's devised around your like what you thought you'd get in heaven.
Interesting.
And people don't even realize it until like the very end that they're in hell. And so in there, no one goes to heaven for like 500 plus years. And they were like, well, why? When they talk to God, right? Mm-hmm. They're like, well, the bag that you wore was built in like mines in a foreign country where they had no child labor laws, right?
Lord have mercy.
Yeah, and like wages, like people weren't getting paid fair wages. So it was just like we're connected to every dollar we spend.
Yeah.
I mean, that's neither here nor there. Inshallah, Allah is the most merciful,
Inshallah.
Right? So, it's
Yeah.
you just don't know where your money's going all the time. And even Ivy Park can be super whack, right?
Is there things that like you're super frugal on? Like for me, certain things in the house, like dishes, I got all of my servingware is from Walmart. I can't. $1, because if I break one or if a guest breaks one, I want to be able to be like, no worries, 99 cents.
No, I'll say this, like I would prefer like great customer experience. So if y'all are from the South, like Publix is it. Like where shopping is a pleasure, right? Yes. And I almost feel like the workers there do too much. They're like, what? I'm like, hey, I'm like looking for. They're like the dairy person. I'm like, oh, I'm looking for cinnamon, and they will walk you all the way over to cinnamon and like take care of you, right?
Yep.
And so I'm just like, okay, so I choose their higher prices for the piece. Like I won't like Whole Foods. I won't do that.
Yeah.
Yeah. One day I was like at Whole Foods because it was the closest grocery store. And I was like calculating, and I literally dropped the cart. I was like, oh, hell no. Like, I was like, for what? Like for French toast in the morning? I was like, get me out of here.
Yes.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So I will pay for like customer service experience and even tip on the customer service experience.
Mashallah.
Yeah. So it's, I'll pay for that. But like, and I like things to look a certain way, but I'll always look for a budget
option that still gives you the same like
for sure. I'm a dupe girl.
Yes.
Yeah,
awesome.
Always.
And then like the one thing that you do spend like top dollar on,
I will say that I love like. So I'm more of a capsule closet person where I only have a small amount of things. And for every season, I try not to buy too much clothes, but like I did a really good like haul of like vintage jeans and like vintage jackets when I went to LA.
Mashallah.
And then I got them all oversized and then went and I get all my clothes tailored.
Yes, that's the freaking win.
It's low key a hack of mine. Go ahead and take it, not gatekeeping it. But like I get like jeans and then get them tailored to fit my body.
I love that.
But my brother's been doing this from back in the day because he's 6'7".
Yeah, mashallah.
So he's always gone to like Old Navy and then he gets them tailored. So it was kind of a hack from him that I stole.
Yeah.
So that's my splurge. What about you?
Splurge. I think I like I'll justify anything if I really want it.
Yeah. I think we all have that.
Right? Like sometimes it could be in the same category. Like sometimes there's like an electronic that I'm like, nope, have to have it. So for example, we're talking about like tech and there's like a card reader. So we have like 3 or 4 cameras now, right?
Yeah, alhamdulillah.
Alhamdulillah. And like putting all of the SD cards in one by one and one card reader is like annoying. And that card reader was
Did you buy it?
I totally, it's going to be here tomorrow.
Oh, you did not tell me that.
Yes, girl. I was like, I don't have time.
Oh,
so for me, like peace and like getting time back, I will invest things to get my time back.
Ooh.
Right. Where even if it seems like frivolous, right? Like if I can get more time, I'm at that place where I'll trade my money in order to get more of my time
More
back,
peace.
for sure.
Okay.
Right? Or convenience.
Yeah.
I have a thing for everything. Like, oh, this is the thing we use for this situation.
Yeah, no.
I'll do it.
Like my Nesma came over. She's a co-founder with me with Zia clothing line.
Shout out to Zia.
Alhamdulillah, yeah. And we were doing something. We had a bridal shower, like a bridal shower kickback for her sister who recently got married, mashallah.
Mashallah.
And she was like cooking. And then she was like, bruh, you only got like 2 knives? And I was like, it's just me here, you know?
Yeah.
Like, I don't need more
How
than
many
one
more
knife.
knives do I need?
Yeah, so I try to be super minimalist. Like, I have this pot for this, that, but it's just like really streamlined to the point where it can look real skimpy sometimes when I have to do more like bigger events.
Yeah.
Like I just bought serving plates,
Look
right?
at you, fancy.
Kind of, we trying, but like, no, like splurging, like I can do small items. Like small items are my thing. Anything less than $200, I probably accumulate more of, like lots of books, stuff like that. But you saw me, like I had to buy a new computer because mine just crapped out, right?
I was hurting for you.
I mean, I was like nonstop, just like reading about it, but it made me sick. I literally exited out of like the final pay button like 10 times.
I can't do this,
you know?
Yeah.
But like, you gotta, you know, and when I'm thinking about like etiquette and behaviors and like, you just gotta come from a good place, number one, right?
Yeah.
I think a giving spirit will always bring more to you.
Absolutely.
And I've seen that with my mom, you know?
Mashallah. Our moms are the best, bro.
Woo, mashallah. Like she operates like on budget, like what? You know, like
God will provide.
She believes that.
Yeah, my mom does too. Fundamentally,
it's a core value of hers.
Like beyond reason or logic, she just knows it's gonna come back. Like she'll give it away and won't even think twice about it.
She treats people well because she knows it's gonna come back. Like you know, you think about like core values, right? And then like limiting beliefs. Her limiting beliefs are not. She has certainty in her Lord. Yeah. Right? And the abundance of God.
Oof, I hope that for us. I want that for us.
You know? Yeah. Like that's not her limiting belief at all. And so then you reinforce a world that looks the way that you see it. Yep. Right? Yep. So she's giving, but she's also receiving all the time. Yeah. I'm like, how does this world, how is it constructed for you? I was like, Mom, we need a budget, bro. Like, let me sit down and Excel. Girl, she literally walked away from me.
My mom will literally throw the phone. Yeah. No, absolutely not.
I was like, how much money do you want to bring in?
And then all my brothers called me like, did you have the budget conversation with Mom again? I was like, bro, I'm trying to help. He's like, haven't you given up yet?
It's just never going to happen.
Mashallah.
Yeah, alhamdulillah.
Shout out to our moms.
Shout out to them. They have their way, you know, and they stuck. Yeah, but alhamdulillah, like we're just always, and it's what we do on this pod, right? It's just thinking about like traditionally where we're coming from, experientially. Is that a word?
Yep.
Experientially, like where have we been, and like how are we moving
Absolutely.
through and creating our own futures
and thinking like thoughtfully through like as we make those navigations and as we make those transitions, because we've said it so many times. If you guys are new, we'll say it again. We don't have the answers, fellas, ladies. We don't. We're just trying to, you know, create like a dialogue and a conversation around some of the different ways that you can do it. And alhamdulillah, it's been super rewarding. I've grown so much.
It's all about conversations, you know? And I think that I think even about my patients, like I'll sit down with a Trump supporter, probably some Ku Klux Klan members. You know, this is Georgia. And I'm able to relate, I will say, with 99.9%.
There's always some common ground. Yeah. If you're willing to look for it.
I'm not an apologizer for shitty ass behavior, right? Yeah. Like I'm sitting in there, but there's always some place of commonality. Yeah. And I don't want to be Van Jones here, right? Because, you know, over here crying on TV. But we have not seen that dude since he got $100 million from Jeff Bezos. He don't care. He's sitting on a beach. I'm not even mad at him, but I'm like, bro, you were crying during when Biden was elected, and he just represents status quo. But yes, you felt better that Trump wasn't in office, but we have not seen that dude since he got that money. Literally. Would you see me though? No. Would you be seen?
I'd be like, Farah, hey, episode?
No. Like, I'm on an island. Like,
she's like, bye.
Yeah. I hope he's just creating some type of
something dope.
Something dope with it, right? Like, I hope he comes out. But like, take the break that you need, man.
Yeah.
You were crying on national television. That's okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, the people are going to do what they want to do. And I think like that ties off like the episode really well.
Yeah.
Like even when it comes to like Money Adab or Etiquette, I think, you know, I got this idea from Rami. I forget his last name, but he has a book called like I'll Teach You to Be Rich. And he's always saying like unapologetically spend where it matters to you. But so many people are hemorrhaging money, spending money to buy things to impress people they don't even like. And he was just saying, like, if you like $400, $500 sneaker Louis Vuittons or, you know, Yeezys or whatever it is, buy them.
Yeah.
But if that means that you don't care about where you live and you have 3 roommates, then that's cool.
Yeah.
But, like, do it intentionally. Everything with intention.
Ooh, everything with intention.
Yes.
That makes so much sense,
Yeah.
you know? Like, and I think you were telling me more about this book and you were like, that Starbucks drink is not going to kill or break the bank.
It's not.
Right?
Yeah.
And I think it accumulated over a period of time for sure, right?
Yeah.
Like, and we think about even our faith tradition, like everything with moderation.
Of course.
Yeah. There's a balance in everything.
Yeah.
You know, and just creating that balance. Like, get that Starbucks drink. And if you have y'all tried the brown sugar ice drink? Have you tried it?
I don't even drink Starbucks like that. I'm like a frap girl, and I've just ventured out into vanilla bean because Fred tries it, and I've taken his drink from him.
Okay. I'm like in there like swimwear.
Really?
Like, yeah, I love coffee. But yes, like I am all about like ease and like, do you want it? Like, just like, go ahead, right? Yeah. But like, of course I'm going to budget for it. Like I had when I was in optometry school, we had like a business professor came in and he was like, okay, even if I can afford a ultra 4K, whatever TV that they have, UHD, 70-inch screen, I know nothing, right? Yeah. But like, okay, yeah, I can drop $5,000 on a television. If he was like, I can afford that. Yeah. He was like, but I'd never buy it on that day because I saw it and I liked it. Yeah. He was like, I would think and devise a plan around like how much that is, and then actively in the next 5 to 6 months, like put money aside for the TV that I want, even if I can afford it on day one.
Sinking funds are freaking crazy.
What are they called?
Sinking funds. So it's like sinking funds is like when you're saving for something that you know you're going to spend, like a trip, and you cash flow it. So I know I'm going to do something for my birthday next year, and so I put a little bit of money every day, or a little bit of money every time I get paid. So like things that we always do sinking funds, like paying for taxes, we do sinking funds for Eid, we do sinking funds for every year, like our zakat and stuff like that. We always just it happens every year. Like my niece and my nephew's birthday, if I know I'm gonna go travel somewhere, like travel is a sinking fund. So even if I don't know when exactly I'm gonna spend it, I know there's gonna be a time where I'm gonna spend a lot of money on it. So I just put it aside.
See, I'm not particularly good at that. I love that.
Helps me out so much.
What I do is I just save like a quarter of my salary and I just put it away.
Mashallah.
Yeah, I just put it away because I'm not that great about foresight. Like, of course, the cat's coming every year, right? Yeah.
I just hate the surprise bills because when I'm shaking, like, oh my God, right?
Yeah.
Like, and now I have to drop a big amount versus I've seen that amount like grow steadily over the course of months and weeks. It's like, yes, this, or like insurance. We pay insurance in 6 months time periods. Yeah.
For me, I need to, I'm not driving dirty. I need to actually do that after this.
You're hella funny, mashallah. But it just took that book helped me a lot, and then just realizing like there's things that happen every single year. Yeah. Just plan for it. Like there's always a line sister at this point getting married or having a baby. So I have a gift fund. Yeah. I don't know who's gonna get the gift at what time of the month, but like when it's like, oh, I have $100 gift for somebody's wedding, I don't like, where am I gonna budget for that? I budget for it every month, and then it's like I just take it out. It's like we're waiting for you. It's transformed our budget. Fred's so much more happier.
Oh, is he? Are you the money manager?
No, we do it together.
Oh, you do?
We do
like a weekly meeting?
We do it bi-weekly. Oh. Yeah, so we'll sit, but if something goes left, like if I'm like, okay, babe, we have to talk. I just went to Kroger and we're gonna make these brownies. Like I'm into baking right now at the moment, and so sometimes chocolate could be $50.
Your mom did just call you about like the brownies.
She definitely did. She did. You heard her, right?
I did.
So
alhamdulillah.
But I think as long as you have a plan and intention, everything will be fine.
That's funny because and this is like off topic, but my friend, she has like a monthly like money manager meeting, but it's also where her and her spouse bring up like grievances or issues. Ooh! I know. I love that. I think.
Can we talk about the appliance you bought? The weed
or
whacker.
Just like, hey, you did this and it kind of hurt my feelings, but instead of like nitpicking in the moment all the time, it's just like, let's table it so that we can kind of like do this in a more productive effective manner.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah. But she was like, sometimes it doesn't work for me. Like, I got to bring it up.
We're going to bring it up. We're going to talk about this.
I know. And I'm someone who's like, I got to talk about this immediately. Yeah. But then I thought that was kind of cool around like spouses having to sit down and having like a money manager meeting.
We do, because I just found that that like otherwise we'll just be doing our own things. Yeah. And then we're like, wait, we make too much money not to have like a plan.
Right?
We've probably saved the most money in COVID. One, because we weren't going out, but two, because we were actually sitting our asses at home looking at each other, and we've talked about.
I had one credit card bill that was only $200.
Mashallah.
I was like, alhamdulillah, because I did nothing. But when outside opened,
oh girl,
exponentially worse than what I used to do generally.
So let's talk about this. He said, I want you to have fun, but
I was like, what was I doing?
No, I could not. I couldn't even account for it. I was like, babe, I swear I don't even know. I had to go look at the statement and do the highlighter activity where it's like needs. Okay, I don't know what the hell this was.
We need to like really. I've never done that before.
Oh my god, it's so important, because that's how I decided what I was gonna do sinking funds for. Like, I'm the type of girl, I don't want to be thinking about, can I afford my Chick-fil-A or my restaurant, or you guys know I love Cheesecake Factory, and I know a lot of you guys think that it's basic and ghetto, but I love it. I don't care.
Yeah.
So I don't want to have to think, oh, do I have the money for it? I have a budget of what I put in there every single month, and I go and it doesn't bother me. Yeah. Right? But we also don't have cable, because I don't care about cable. Farah doesn't care about cable. Oh, nice. We don't have any other subscriptions other than like YouTube and Audible, because I won't go to Libby.
Oh, wow. See, I'm different. Like, I'm like, oh, you want HBO Max? Like, girl, get HBO Max.
I used to be that way, but then
it adds
Apple,
up.
You know the text messages that would piss me off. Apple's like $16.99. I was like, for what? On a Wednesday at 2:00 for what?
They get you on these like random times where you can't like cut it off. They do it on purpose. It's like a little kid and like they sneak attack.
It's childish.
It's very childish. Like, send it to me when like an adult.
Like an adult.
Like, I'm sitting here at 7:00 where I can pull up my laptop and be like,
what is this about? No.
Delete subscription.
No.
And they just do it on random times.
They're disgusting.
But all this stuff adds up. Subscription services definitely add up.
Yeah.
But yes, I definitely am someone who I need to be better. I think that's my next like quarter before the end of like 2021 is
girl,
like,
I love some projects before the new year.
Watch money. And I actually want to save like an exponential amount, no reason, but just like, no more. You guys don't be an outfit rememberer, okay? Because I'm gonna be wearing everything
mind your business.
all the time.
Mind your business.
Mind your business.
I look good in it last time you saw me, and I look good in it this time.
And I'm known to like post the same outfit over and over and over again, because I
wear a uniform
wearing it
all the time.
I don't wear it over and over again. Like, it's accurate. My life, my little posts, my Instagrams, like, literally wearing the same outfit. Yeah. And I would wear this jacket to Publix. That's how much I love it. You know? I'm just like, I just want to vibe and have a cape, bro.
Like, I should have brought mine. I have one, and every time I wear it, I was like, Farah would totally wear this to Publix. I literally think like she would wear it to the gas station.
I would wear it to the gas station.
And I have to be like, okay, where's my confidence?
Yeah. And even like someone tried to tell me like, oh, you try to get fitted or like wear makeup for other people. I said, no, never that. You know? God, yeah. Like I do it for myself.
For the reflection when you walk past the glass mirror, be like, ooh. Fire, mashallah, check you out.
Yeah, alhamdulillah. Girl, I just think we have to take care of ourselves, right? Yeah. Just take care of yourselves, take care of your people. Absolutely. That's my biggest thing.
And mind your business. Drink your water, stay moisturized.
Drink water, bro.
Be hydrated.
Like, drink your water.
Can we just, on that note?
I know. We gonna wrap this one.
Yes. Thank you so much. Honestly, thank you guys, everybody who's been supportive. You guys have sent like so many really, really kind messages. So jazakallah khair. But yeah, like if you guys love the podcast, rate and review. We would appreciate it. And if you're on YouTube, subscribe. And if you do watch us on the podcast, go over YouTube and subscribe. Watch the visuals. We put a lot of effort in there, and I think you guys will enjoy it.
I'm so happy in this visual podcast space. Like this is where we thrive, and I'm happy that we're able to give this back to you.
I love it. All right. Well, with that, peace.
Yeah, peace.
Bye. Assalamu alaikum.